The idea of open scoring has been the recent topic of discussion in the MMA world, and I'll be honest with you guys, when I first heard the headlines talking about open scoring being potentially a thing that's implemented, I didn't believe it. I thought it was a joke, and I didn't even want to entertain it with a video because it was the most stupid idea I've ever heard, and it was just really a hissy fit reaction to a decision that went badly by the judges, and I just thought, you know what, this isn't even worth my time, I'm going to ignore it, there's no way they're serious. But then recently, Invicta FC had an open scored event. And it became a little bit more serious, okay? Because Invicta FC, if you don't know, is a child company to the UFC. The UFC is a parent company to Invicta FC. That means something, okay? If the UFC are trying it out in Invicta, they're obviously somewhat serious about implementing it in MMA. And here's what I don't like about the whole situation. First of all, this is all an absolute overreaction from the decision with Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. And I'll be honest with you guys, I can't believe that that's the fight that's in discussion for it. It seemed like it was always a topic of conversation, but it was never at the forefront of conversation, and it was never really a real conversation to be had, because everyone knew it was kind of not going to be a thing, because there's no way we can have open scoring. But then Holloway fought Volkanovski, and for this fight to trigger everyone to say that we should now be considering open scoring, because after the Holloway-Volkanovski fight, this all boomed in the media, and everyone started talking about it again. Holloway-Volkanovski wasn't even that close. It was a competitive fight, don't get me wrong, but I had Volkanovski maybe winning every single round. And I know Joe Rogan and Ariel Helwani and all these people in the MMA media, Chael Sonnen, all like to come out and say it was a very close fight, but I'll be honest with you guys, I don't understand this, and I don't understand the reaction from this. There have been closer, more bullshit fights in history. And just because Max Holloway thought he won the bouts, listen, the whole situation with Max Holloway losing that bout and thinking that he won is just somewhat delusional. Like, I don't think he won the bout whatsoever. Alexander Volkanovski outstruck him every single fucking round. Maybe Holloway won a round, but other than that, Volkanovski completely dominated the entire fight and Holloway did nothing. And by the way, Volkanovski did that with a broken hand. Like, I don't understand why this has triggered a discussion of open scoring, and then let's talk about open scoring in general. It's the most stupid idea ever. People use the argument in terms of open scoring. I always fucking hear this from Chael Sonnen, from Ariel Helwani, from Joe Rogan. They all have the same argument. We use open scoring in other sports like NFL, NBA, football and all this, and tennis and shit like that. You very conveniently didn't list the only other combat sport that's major in the world, boxing, which also doesn't use open scoring, and it doesn't use it for a fucking reason. Why would you give guys the knowledge that they've won a round? They should be able to know if they've won a round. And this comes back to the corners. I made a video not too long ago, and you may be able to go back and check it, saying that corners in MMA are always doing their fighters a disservice. Corners in MMA need to change because there is a fucking stupidity battle in MMA recently, which is really pissing me off, and it always happens. Every now and again, I'll notice it in the corner. It really annoys me. Why are you lying to your fighter, telling them that he won a round? If your cornermen can't tell you if you've won a round of MMA, they shouldn't be your cornermen because they don't know MMA. I have watched a lot of MMA. I've watched so many MMA fights. Okay, I'm very rarely wrong on who I thought won a fight and who I thought won a decision. I feel like everyone who watches MMA for a long amount of time has a reasonable idea of who won a round. And if it isn't the person who they originally thought won a round, they can see the argument somewhat, okay? Everyone who watches MMA can do that. Why did a cornerman always lie to their fighters about winning a round? And even if you do think your fighter won a round and it was close, why tell him that? I don't understand. And for open scoring to be implemented, another reason why it shouldn't even happen is because the fights are going to be so fucking dead now. Oh my god, it's so stupid. The fights are going to be so shit. And I know the argument is that it's going to give the guy who's losing a chance to come back. On the flip side of that, which completely cancels your argument out about the guy losing being able to have the chance to come back, the guy winning is going to do jack shit. You think if John Jones knows he's up rounds, he's going to put the pedal on the metal and try and get the finish? That's never going to happen. You think if Israel Adesanya knew he was up rounds by the third, because they gave him 2 rounds out of that, that 4th round and 5th round would have been even more boring. It's a problem. I don't know why they keep arguing open scoring MMA and they bring up NFL and NBA. That is the stupidest comparison I've ever heard in my life. This is a fight. If your cornermen can't tell you that you've won or lost a round, get them out of your fucking corner because they don't know what they're watching. It's that simple. If there's a close round, act like you've lost a round. I don't understand the idea of open scoring, and also, furthermore, how is this going to work in the schedule of UFC? Are you going to have it up on the big screen while they're on their corner? That makes no sense. While they're on the stall, you're just showing them the scoring of every single round. Boxing doesn't have this it's just so fucking stupid. I don't understand. Why would you give them that extra thing to think about? They're going out there to win rounds and win fights, and I don't agree that open scoring should be a thing. I think it's ridiculously stupid, to be honest with you, because also, let's say a fighter thinks he's won a round and you show him that he's lost, you're just going to piss him off. Like, oh fuck, that's bullshit. Like, why does that thought need to go through a fighter's head? Fight the fight, win the rounds. All of this is, and I know why the UFC is doing this, because we have honestly, open scoring wouldn't even be a terrible idea. I can reason with you there. Open scoring probably might even work if we all got used to it, and it took about a year for us to get used to it and the fighters to get used to it. But only reason this is coming up in conversation is because they're too scared to address the real problem. Your judges don't know what they're fucking watching. Open scoring should not be a reaction to a bad judge's decision or a decision that you thought should be the other way. Holloway clearly lost a fight to Volkanovski. Why did that spur this discussion? I have no idea why that spurred this entire discussion of open scoring, but what the UFC is wanting to do, and what the MMA media is wanting to do, is brush their fucking terrible judges under the carpets. How is the guy that Joe Rogan and Dominic Cruz, eyewitnesses in person who work for the UFC, saw on his phone during an event at UFC 247 Texas, still employed by the UFC? How is Kevin McDonald, who jumped in the way of Kutalaba versus Ankleev when they began to fight, still a referee in the UFC? There is no accountability for anyone, and I feel like we're all just trying to brush that under the rug. Yes, it's because we don't have open scoring anymore, so guys don't know if they've won rounds. How about you find a way to know who's won the rounds in your own judging area, rather than bringing in an entire new system, and all of this has to change because we have no power over who's judging the fights. Get fucking power over who judges the fights. That's your next mission, and if the commissions don't like it, don't go to their arenas and they will suffer. You are the UFC now. This is not the days where Donald Trump is allowing you to use his casino and there's nowhere else to go and you'll take whatever arena you can get. You're the UFC. Every country, every arena wants your business. They are there to work something out with you. If you have a problem with the judging, start being a little bit firmer on these commissions, okay? I do not mind the idea of us at home maybe knowing who the judges have it scored for. I don't even mind the idea of, like in boxing, they all have some cage side experts, some former boxers, some guys who are neutral on the situation to give who they think the fight is going towards. And it will show their picks on who the rounds is going to. That's what I think should happen. Do that kind of stuff so we can have a bit more of understanding. Do I agree with that? Do I not agree with that? Don't do this bullshit thing where we're going to have scores. Who won that round? Okay, let's check up there. Because otherwise, if you want to compare this to NFL and NBA, where does it end? Once we allow open scoring in, where does this whole rule change thing end to the scoring? Do guys want to know how much they won a round by? Like, do guys want to check up at the screen every now and again to see how many strikes they've landed? What do you want to do here? Because if you want to have the same open scoring system as the NFL and NBA, surely we're going to start counting strikes. You know what? We'll have a midget ring a bell in the middle of the ring every time someone lands a punch. And the fighter will know. He'll have one bell for one fighter and one bell for the other fighter. It doesn't have to be a small person. I should have used the correct terminology there. I apologize. It just has to be a person in the ring. And he'll just ring a bell every time someone lands a punch. So the fighter knows. If your cornermen can't tell you if you've won a round or not, get them out of your fucking corner. And this constantly happens in MMA, and it's bullshit. Holloway's corner knew he wasn't winning those rounds. If they thought he was winning them rounds, they shouldn't be in a corner in MMA. That fight between Volkanovski and Holloway has spurred this entire conversation, and that's making me more angry than everything. I understand, MMA world. I understand people that work for the UFC, that you have come to like Max Holloway. I picked Max Holloway to win that fight with Volkanovski. He clearly and consecutively lost every single round. Okay? I don't care about open scoring. It's a terrible idea. Okay? That's part of the game. And one thing, the big enchilada at the end of this video, please. I should have opened with this fucking point, and it was actually the entire point of this entire fucking video that I'm about to tell you guys. It will ruin the entire suspense of the end of the fight. If we know, and the fighters know, who has won a fight, it will ruin the... If a guy knows he's won 3 rounds, and he doesn't even have to know who won the 5th. If it's not a 10-8, he's won. He's going to be celebrating. There's no point even having a ceremony where one guy's hand gets raised, the judges' scorecards get read out. We know the results. It removes all the suspense of the moment that we find out the winner. It ruins the suspense of the entire fight if we know by the 3rd round, oh, all Jones has to do is survive. I guess they gave him the 2nd round that was close, so I guess that all of that mystery is out the window, and now we just know, okay, cool, he just has to survive. It changes the way we look at fights. Let's say Jon Jones, Dominic Reyes. We knew that Jon Jones had already won the 3rd. We'd be like, bullshit. Everyone would be angry before we even know the result of the fight. You know? Everyone would be like, oh, he just has to coast or win these last 2 rounds. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't understand. There'd be no suspense whatsoever. You know, if we watch Ioane and Jacek and Weili Zhang, imagine if we knew the result before the actual decision got called. It's fights like that that would be ruined by open scoring. Because people wouldn't go to war anymore. The only reason they go to war is to make sure they win rounds. If you're telling them they've won rounds, when do you tell them they've won rounds? Do the judges have to make a decision within the corner work? Is that what they have to do? Every single time they go to the corner, which is for 30 seconds, by the way. Or actually, no, it's for a minute, isn't it? Whatever it's for, actually, I don't know. How long is the MMA corner time? Actually, I'm going to find this out. I just played an accidental Nelk Boys video that I have open. Hopefully that doesn't get me copyright. I'm sure they won't mind a second of their video. How long is the corner time in MMA? I've actually never known this. It is. Was I right the first time? Okay. They don't have it anywhere online. Can I please know how long the corner... Someone tell me in the comments how long the corner time is. But it's a very short amount of time, okay? I think it's a minute. I know it's a minute, and I'm pretty sure it is a minute. But however... Is it a minute? I'm really hell-bent on this. But first of all, let's get this... I don't even know what I was going to say anymore. I've completely fucked myself over. Oh yeah, do the judges have to work things out in the short corner times? Like, oh shit, the fucking round, fuck, alright, and then we get it relayed to the fucking TV up there so they can see it, and then they need another 15 seconds to actually take in the information that they have won that round, and then we'll show them how many points they scored. Like, it's just the stupidest idea I've ever heard of. Please don't do open scoring in MMA, and I feel like this is just an biased response for people liking Max Holloway and thinking that he won the fight when in reality he probably lost every single round, if not at least 4 of them. I don't understand. Don't understand. This is actual retardation. I don't get the MMA world sometimes. I really don't. Like, I'm actually having stress here. And I wish I knew how long the fucking corner times were. Because Google is saying nothing. And I will go back on Google right now. Just open up history, man. Fuck! I'm actually getting annoyed because I don't know. How long is the corner time? They're not showing it anywhere. Google has no results for how long the corner time is in MMA. How long is the corner time in MMA? The funniest corner advice. That's not what I searched for. That's very clearly what I searched for. The Cornerman Guide. How to work a boxing corner. Well, this is clearly... I clearly said MMA. I clearly said MMA. And it's showing me boxing results. Does no one know? How long has it been this entire time? I'm sure it's been a minute the entire time. With a 1... Oh my god, here it is. With a 1 minute rest period. It was 1 minute. I was correct. Why did I even think otherwise? Of course it's a minute. Oh my god. This whole video might be ruined. Fuck, man. I'm actually hovering over the stop recording button. Fucking hell. It's actually... Okay, cool. It's a minute long. It's fucking stupid, this whole idea of open scoring. Fuck off. It really is just a bitch fit about Holloway losing. He lost. Get over it. You know, I don't care if he thought he won. If he thinks he's won, that's his problem. Doesn't know how to score a fight. Okay? Leg kicks count. Leg kicks count. If his cornermen can't tell him he's won a round or not, they shouldn't be his cornermen, to sum up. We will ruin the suspense of finding out who won a fight at the end. If we knew who won the Weili versus Joanna fight, it would be a terrible, terrible suspenseful night. There will be no suspense whatsoever. We'd just be sitting there, oh, it's over. And as soon as the bell rings, we'd be like, yay, Joanna won. Or yay, Weili Zhang won. Because I actually thought Weili Zhang won. But like, it's just retarded. So retarded. Please don't do this. Why are we implementing new rules? We're just hiding from the fact that we have a problem with our judges. And we don't want to address it. The judging system should work as follows. We should not just do a 10-9 and a 10-8 because there are more than 2 ways a round can go. A guy can edge a round and a guy can dominate a round without dropping someone and get the exact same score. That's what makes no sense. That's what makes no sense. Okay? That really doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and I don't know why we're still doing it. The reason why it's there in boxing is because there are 2 ways a guy can win a round. He can outbox you on the feet, or he can outbox you in the feet and drop you. And finish you, maybe. But drop you is as far as it will go. And that's why there's only 10-9 and 10-8. What's the point of having 10 numbers if you're only going to use 2 of them? Why not have a 2-1 round and a 2-0 round? Surely that would save numbers. 10 is 2 digits, and you have to print that on every single piece of... If we don't want to get topical here, save paper and don't do 10... Like, just don't do 10 numbers in general. I want to see a 4-1 round. I want to see a 4-3 round, 4-2, 4-1. If you edge a round, you get a 10-9. If you dominate a round clearly, you get a 10-8. If you dominate a round and drop someone, you get a 10-7. And if you really do put a pounding on someone, you get a 10-6. Surely that's how it should work. Goodbye. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button there. I'll see you later.